Welcome to the Take It Easy podcast, guys. With yourself and your host, Mob Mike. We're back in the kitchen again today. Um, and we have Andy who's joining us
How
to
you doing,
share.
Mike?
How are you doing? You okay, mate?
Yeah, good. Just hit me front.
Andy is currently 13 months.
30
So
months clean.
13 months clean and sober. So he's going to share how his addiction went over time. And then the second part two, will be how he got clean and sober.
Right.
So yeah, welcome Andy. Thank you for coming on, mate. It's quite a
No, thank you
relaxed
for having me, Mike.
podcast. Quite a relaxed podcast in the kitchen. I'm sure you spent many days in a kitchen.
Yeah,
Right.
we've all done that, haven't we? Watching the sun come up. Yeah.
That's one of the things I don't miss. So yeah, just give us a bit of your background.
So how it started.
Yeah,
Uh,
how did you start, mate? How
I
did
would
you?
always say to anyone, don't think it can't happen to you. Because I was an
Yeah,
occasional user all my life. I was married February 4 years ago. It's this February coming, it's 4 years since I split up. I was married, my wife never used, 4 children grown up. I was an occasional user, do it behind the wife's back. Going out with mates, going to a boxing do, I blast away like we do. Going out with wife and friends, maybe I'd go out and have sneaky ticket and chewing on the food like you do. I was an occasional user, not a heavy user, just a
yeah,
user, like a lot of people. So this is where I say to people, don't ever think it can't happen to you. You don't know what life throws at you. Uh, then I split up. February the 4th, 4 years ago, I split up with my wife. Not her fault. It's just one of them things. We split up after a 30-odd year
yeah,
relationship, marriage. Then I was on my own in a bedsit. And I was never a drinker, never the greatest drinker in the world at all. And I love my training. So I had a couple of properties about me at the time, but I couldn't go into them at the time there. And I'm renting, and I absolutely hated it. So now I'm going to work. Well, I didn't know I had Pete boys working for me, so I was going to work just to do something. I
yeah.
go to the gym, coming home, and then so I'll go to the gym, and then I come home, and I'm there on my own, twiddling my thumbs. And then mates say, do you want to come for a beer? I couldn't think of nothing worse in a week than having a beer. I was not a drinker at all. But when you're bored, people say, why don't you go training? Fuck me, I can only spend so long in the gym. So I go and have
Yeah.
a beer. And you know what goes with that? Do you want a little cheeky line? So you have a little cheeky one. And I'll say in the first 2 or 3 months, I could always have it about me. Now we know the saying. I can phone it up and have,
Just sorry, just let's go back to when you ever had. So was cocaine your addiction?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Would you
drink
say
lots of.
alcohol? Would you say you was
No,
an
no,
alcoholic?
no, no, not at all. I could go without drink at all. Doesn't
Yeah,
bother me.
yeah, yeah.
Drink does not bother me.
I was exactly the same. So when was
Not
you?
a bit.
When was take us back? And how old were you when you were first? Had you ever first line?
When I first started, late 20s, early 30s, and fuck me, weren't it better than them days, weren't it? That was a bit of, ooh, fuck it. But it was, weren't it?
Mate,
I
I used
think,
we used to get it, man, and like fucking half a gram would last me a full night.
God, yeah. God, I remember being in places, I'll be careful what I say with certain people, and fuck me, you hoover a line up, it blows your head off, don't it? And the old jaw was swinging in them days, weren't it? Not like
It's just
nowadays.
not. It's just not like that anymore, is
Yeah, it
it?
ain't like that anymore. So I was always an occasional user, nothing heavy.
Yeah,
Like just doing what we're doing. When I went out on a weekend, and when I was married, I used to have boys' weekends away and got
yeah.
towels and women in my back. Crazy times at the time.
They're the
But
great times, aren't they? They're
they
the
were,
great times.
they were. Do you know what? And when I come onto it, like my addiction, I say to people, I say it starts off well, but you keep doing it, it don't fucking end well.
No.
You know, to me, it doesn't. It doesn't end well. I don't know anyone. You could go back, and I put this out on a post the other week. Let's find someone from 5 years ago, 10 years ago, who had the looks, had the misses, had the money, had the job, and they're a constant user. Where are they now? Well, they ain't
No.
where they was, were they? They're not going forward.
I agree, mate. Like, and people will hide it and deny it. Like, even if you sniff coke fucking 2 or 3 times a week, right? Was you an everyday user?
Towards the end, yeah, yeah,
Towards the
yeah,
end. So even
yeah,
if I've got mates who are fucking go, and I'm not judging them, like, I'm fucking really bad, but even if you're sniffing coke Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it's still taking a fucking lot away from you.
yeah,
Like, you know
yeah.
what I mean? You might not have the consequences that me and you may have had when
But
you're
you say
sniffing
that
every day.
you do Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You're hanging the Monday, Tuesday. That's half your year took up through cocaine. You've just
exactly.
fucked half your year up on that shit.
Exactly.
It's crazy when you, to me, when now I'm watching these videos and my mind's clear, I look back and I think, wow, I've forgiven half of my year. Don't worry about the money side of it. Don't worry about that. That's you can't go to the dealers and the bosses and ask for that back. That's done. That's gone, ain't it? I feel blessed to be here. I'm blessed to be here. You know, and some people might not get that, and I might be hypocritical because to the person can go out once every now and then and have a ticket. Good luck to you. I wish I could do that. Good luck. But I
I
always say,
fucking wish I could, mate. I've
don't,
always
but
said it.
I would always say to them, and you'll understand it, you'll get it. Don't think you're indestructible. That one line might be one line too many. Because you'll know,
No,
and I know, there's
you
always
know,
someone who's not here to tell the tale because of that shit.
no,
And that's
no,
a fucking fact.
I've got a
And
mate
I
who,
can't name names. I've got someone who was close to me, not here now, too much boom. I could name many a name in my area who too much gear, they're not here now.
no,
And that's a fact.
it's what I think. I'm not saying we're not saying it happens to everyone because it
It
doesn't. You
doesn't
know what I
happen to
mean? Like, I've got
everyone.
loads of mates who are still having a fucking couple of gram every week, like 2 hours every weekend, or not even every weekend, and they enjoy it. And it doesn't. You know, one of my best mates, it doesn't destroy his life, and he's done it all the way through with me. But like, you never know, do you? You
I
never
mean,
know
on
when you're
the,
gonna have this moment in your life
when I've
where
been on here, sorry, I've been on here, and then someone said, like, generally didn't know, I didn't know it could kill you. And I'm like, are you stupid? What, you don't know it could
yeah,
kill you? Which I always say to people, if you don't know anyone yet, keep using, get your circles a bit bigger, you'll come across it. And like you say, it doesn't happen to everyone. But if you've got that married man or that married woman with kids, why do you want to throw it away over a piece of shit?
yeah, yeah, no, and like, you
I'm
know,
literally now anti-cocaine. I'm literally the thought of it. 6 months ago, I wouldn't have been, but now I'm thinking you're lucky to have that partner, the kids, people loved. Don't take the risk of throwing it away over that crap
I
because
think
it's
now,
real.
mate, as well. I think now as well, like everybody's fixated, and even if I went back into relapse, like the gear is that shit, mate. It
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
shit that, like, do you
I,
know,
I often wonder now if I had a ticket, what it would do to me.
fuck all. If I
It
had a
would
full
probably,
gram, I could sit here now and have a full gram in one,
yeah,
right? And I'd be no different because my
yeah.
tolerance has gone that high. My tolerance has
I
gone
don't,
that high. I have
I
gone
don't
out
know what it'd
fucking
do to
50
me. I
gram.
mean, at my peak, I mean, if we wanted to, we'd get a little 40 bag, and that's 2, 3 lines, bang, gone. But then on the other hand, I'm OCD about numbers, and I'd like to keep them out on even numbers. If I've done 3 lines, I've got to make 4 lines out of it. And if there's a bit left over, I've got to then make five, and I've got to make 6 lines out of it because I can't have odd numbers. So it's like crazy. Just that's me on my OC fucking D.
Yeah,
But that
I
shit
didn't
just
even, I just didn't even end up doing lines. I just shoved the note in the fucking bag, me, and
bang
just did it
driving
all.
along. I've been at boxing events. We're driving along and we're sitting there at a boxing, just it's
Uh,
in the bag. Yeah.
so, when would you start saying you started to notice problems?
When I started noticing problems, so I'm on my own in this flat, and I could have it round me. So we've got that saying, which is very true. We can order a bit of gear and have it before pizza, but we can also order a bit of gear and it'd be 10 minutes, mate. 10 minutes, mate. 10 minutes, and you're waiting an hour. And I used to hate that. I used to love it round me. So if I was going out, I've got it. And after about 3, 4 months, I couldn't have it around me using it all the time. So the first point that really sticks in my mind, I mean, I can't remember what I'd done 2 days ago, but then I purchased this flat in Whittam. I thought, right, go and move into this. Another buy to it, I thought I'd move into that. And I remember, it sounds mad, going round the roundabout to the flat and saying to myself, Andy, get angry this now. It's getting old of you. You're doing it too
Yeah,
much. So 6, 7 months in from splitting up with my wife, I knew I had a problem. And it escalated big time from there. It really went bad. So that was it. I can remember. I know it sounds stupid. I can remember where and when that said to myself, Andy, sort yourself
yeah.
out now. So that's when I remember.
I think that's when things got bad for me. Like, I'm in a loving relationship today, but my ex back in 6 years ago, I let him walk out the door. Like, we all lived together, and let him walk out the door because I was a weekend user then.
Yeah,
But the call, like, you know what I
like
mean? I was
everyone
fucking
starts off,
still
don't
on
they?
my head. I was going out for that Saturday, and like Sunday, I'd still be off my head most weeks. And a woman doesn't want to live with that, and she'd had enough, and she
Of course they
left.
don't.
But then when she left, I promise you now, hand on heart, and this is disgusting to say, she walks out with my kids, and she's given me a month's notice. And not once in that month did I say, I'm going to try and get help, I'm going to change. I couldn't
Yeah.
wait for him to fucking leave, mate. So I could, and then that's when my house, I just started to pick it up on a Monday, pick it up on a
Yeah,
fucking a Wednesday because I'm bored.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And this is going back 6 years ago before I went into a detox centre. But you know, you've got
Oh,
nothing
it's
excuses.
crazy. When that stuff, it's mind-altering substance. You just can't. How I think now to how I think 12 months ago, I'm a different person. Now, obviously, I think the recovery and you coming off, everyone's journey is different. But you, everyone else on TikTok, or whatever, I think everyone's sailing that same ship. But we might just take different routes to it, and we
Yeah,
could
of
all relate.
course. You
We
know,
could all relate to each other.
there's no right or wrong way of getting
No,
fucking clean and sober. By the way, do you know what I
just
mean? There's
yeah,
everybody's different. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? And I've tried loads of different things, and like the thing, and I don't think I could ever get clean and sober until my fucking ADHD were medicated either. Like I
yeah,
tried it, and like ADHD, there's massive links between drug use and ADHD, and until that was, you know, I honestly believe, and I always say it, and people give me shit online for it. I was suppressing ADHD through cocaine because since I've been on my medication, don't get me wrong, I do fellowship and cocaine anonymous and stuff like that. But I feel so much better. Like my head, my mind, I have no fear in my head anymore. I don't worry about stuff anymore. I don't fuck it. I can relax these days. And when you take away drink and drugs, I was using cocaine to relax. I used to have
yeah,
it and get in bed, me, mate.
yeah, yeah. I get you. Yeah, I mean, I
I
used
used
to
to have
like.
a line to get in a bath. Do you
I
know what
used
I
to like being
mean?
on my own dry stiff, and I used to like that. I fucking loved it. Leave me on my own dry stiff. Can't wait to pull up somewhere. Can't wait to get that first
Yeah,
line out and dry
yeah.
stiff. And it never made me. What's a psychotic? What's that word?
Psychosis.
Yeah, never done that to me. Never
Did you
made me
not?
paranoid. No, just made me a fucking pervert.
It was
I
only the
was,
last two. It was, to be fair, like I've been nailing it hard since I was, well, 17. I started nailing it proper hard at about 26, and it took to about 30 to, for me, like to start getting psychosis, and like it was scary shit. You know what I mean?
yeah, no, it just made me. Although I would say, listen, I had a 3 year addiction, constant user, but that 3 year addiction was fucking heavy.
Yeah.
That 3 year addiction was like to a normal person, maybe a longer time because I could afford the lifestyle at the time,
Like,
and
yeah,
I plowed through it.
I always say this, like my using was bad for from 26 to 32
Yeah,
was really bad. But when I got clean at 33, sorry, I got clean at 33. So last year, is it last year? No, it's year before now. Year before I got clean, I went to rehab for 3 months and I did 2 months out of rehab. So I did 5 months clean. And then I went back at a relapse and that relapse for about 4.5 months was completely worse in everything to the fucking them
yeah,
6 years.
yeah, I get you. Yeah,
I was, for one, I was just killing myself. I was just dry sniffing every day in bed. I weren't causing much harm to others because I was earning good money, so I didn't have to lend off anyone. I was just literally
no, I can relate to that.
sniffing all day, and that's what nearly killed me. Do you know what I mean? I shouldn't be
Yeah,
alive today, but
yeah, I can relate to a lot of things you're saying
the
there.
relapse, and I want to put this message out there on this podcast now. Relapses are fucking miles worse because you know you can get well because you've done it. You know you
And
can
you
get
fucked
well
up.
because you've done it. You know, fucking,
Yeah,
but you just not doing
I've
it.
had close shaves. I mean, so I always had a 3 year where I was planning for it virtually every day, and the first 2 years, I fucking loved it. I'm not gonna lie. I loved it. I
Yeah,
partied and I partied hard. It was fucking brilliant. I had times you could have film crews and we made Hangover look stupid. The stuff we done, I'm sure everyone else did and all. But I'm not going to tell you I hated it. But you know what? The good times ended. The last year,
yeah,
I fucking hated it. So it started off well. I always say 2 years was great. Many a story to tell, crazy stories. You couldn't write. I couldn't tell you some of the stories you've done. Probably like you and everyone else, we just couldn't say it. But in the last year, I hated it.
yeah,
Relapsing, I think I wasn't off it to relapse. I was trying. I think if I'd done 2 days, I'd done well. And the power of that
yeah,
stuff, just the
yeah. I
power, just
know.
drawing you back. I was just trying to tell people. You just don't understand.
What
Unless
it?
someone's been in it, they won't understand. Oh, why don't you just stop? 10 o'clock in the morning, you'll get that thought. Bang, that's it. You know you're doing it that day.
Can't. It's
You
impossible.
know, the Friday feeling was a Thursday feeling. I think on a Wednesday was the one day I probably didn't use, and I'd be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday afternoons to get me through work on a Monday, Tuesday, and I might
Yeah,
not use on a Wednesday, and that'd be think, oh, I'm good now, and then Thursday it starts again. And it
Have you
was just
got
like,
have you got any mental health problems if you don't
no,
mind
do you
shit
know what?
apart from addiction?
No, I suffered
No.
from a bit of depression. I haven't had depression for a long time, so I can relate to people with depression. I think everything we do in ourselves, depression is caused by ourselves. With drugs, I'm like, don't blame anyone else. Do not blame anyone else. Don't
Mhm.
blame the dealer. But they're not giving it to you for nothing. They're not shoving the note on your nose. I think you're responsible for your own actions.
You are.
You've got yourself on this shit. It's down to you to get you off it. And I think there's a
100%.
lot of people. It's people we can reach out to help us, but you've got to want to do it yourself.
You know, I've had, I'm not going to name names, but I was like people in the past who, like over the last year or so, when I've been clean, and they've gone, well, my partner sniffs, and she gives me shit, and this and that and that, and I'm like, and they've got kids, I'm like, well, I'm being honest, mate, it might be time to fucking change relationships, pal,
Yeah, yeah,
because you've got to think about the fuck, like I say to me, what about the kids? Like, what about the fucking kids? And you might have been in love with this girl for fucking years, or man for years. But if you want to get clean and they fucking don't, and it's your drug, so you're both sniffing cocaine, and you know your partner that you love, that you're sleeping in bed with every night, is fucking still high, you're gonna fucking mate. In my opinion, anyway, you've got no fucking chance. Because I couldn't
no.
do it. I could
Do you
not do
know
it.
I could not advise someone on that? I totally get. I try and only tell people on my story and what I've related to, what I can do.
Yeah,
I totally get you. I wouldn't want someone asking me that because I'd probably come and say exactly what you said. I, how I got clean. I think, well, how do people do it anyway? I think when we're on drugs, are we weak? Yeah, we're fucking weak as fuck. But when you come in recovery, you're a different ball game. You get strong, and you're different. It tests your character, and at the end of it now, you find a strength that you didn't know you had. You've got to be
yeah,
strong stuff to get through this. But when we're
100%.
using, we're weak. We're fucking weak as shit. We're fucking. And I say to people now, say, look, you get your girl, but you'll get a £40 bag. Picture your girl. You'll put that bag before your daughter or your kid, and it's fucking
That's what
disgusting.
mate.
And I've
I
done it.
honestly,
We've all done it.
that's when you know you've got an addiction. If you
That's
can't,
what, yeah.
I've had times in the past which I've talked about across the social media where, you know, I've been in fucking, my daughter's been in bed with me and she wants to go out on a bike and I'm too paranoid to fucking take her out. And you know what, it was weird with me because for the last 2 or 3 years using, I never used around my daughter because I split up with my ex. So when I had my daughter, I didn't use. I
That's good.
didn't use because I had her for like 3 or 4 hours at a night and stuff like that. She never stayed with me overnight because my ex didn't trust me, but she trusted me enough to take her out and
Yeah.
bring her around my nan's house and stuff like that. But before that, when we lived together, my ex missus was going to work and I couldn't stop me, mate.
Do
Couldn't
you
help.
find this? I find this in talking. I never once hid my addiction. When people, I'd be somewhere and I'd say, "Don't go down that road. It's fucking shit. Look, I am. I fucking need stuff." And now in recovery, I don't hide it at all. I find it very therapeutic and good for myself, airing it and trying to help people. I find it
Best
helps me trying to help someone.
best thing I ever done. Like
Yeah,
me being on social media now, if I rang, this is my beautiful thing. I always say is like I'd be fucked if I relapse because fucking hell, mate, everyone knows the shit I talk about when I use on my socials is everyone. If I relapse, everyone knows what I'm going to be doing. But
yeah.
like anywhere I go these days, because my
And
social
to be
media is
honest,
getting
with you, so
quite.
if you relapsed, all this what you've built up, you've just fucking squashed it straight away.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
That's the truth. But and I see a lot of people relapsing on social media, but I don't think for one, being honest, I don't think I'd make it back from a relapse. I think it'd end my life, being
yeah.
honest. If I'm true, the way I used last time for them 4 months, every single day, I'm back on my feet now. I'm doing really well for myself. I've got a lot of
Oh, you're
fucking,
listen. You're Mr. TikTok. You are an inspiration to people, aren't you? But then
do
I
you know
think
what I
the
mean?
one
Like,
person, anyone
it's
who's
not as
clean, you
if
can all.
my relapse was that bad last year because I was doing so well with my roofing business when I could pay Albanians a fucking 500 quid a day. I
Yeah,
could pay it and didn't bother me. And then I come into and I hate this, it's sick. Like I come into some inheritance money quite a lot for my granddad's death, which I've replaced today because I've done really well last year in my first year sober. And I blitzed through about fucking 18 grand of that money
easy done,
in
isn't it?
six. No, on a truth this now, mate. I relapsed when I got that money on the 20, I think it was the 28th of December, right? 28th of December to the 6th of Jan, I went through not just over £15,000
Yeah.
in an
I,
hotel
I,
room.
I can get that. I relate to that. Some people won't relate to that. And obviously, it's money on air. I don't want to talk it, but me and you, we can break money down and hammer that over a year and say, that's how it's done. What's an 8 ball? Just say 220, 200 quid. You're doing 2 of them a week, 3 for one.
Still
That's
don't
that
know
over
why.
you.
I
And
never,
that goes without the party
never.
inside.
I just used to buy like bags in 40s and 50s. I never thought this is
Do you
how
know what,
fucking
though? We
delusional I
always,
was, and how denial I was for all these years of me using. I'd never gone right. Listen, I'm definitely having a fucking quarter tonight. Why don't I just buy a quarter? And always
yeah, I
buy.
get you.
Just drop my phone off, mate, for 1 fucking 20 or 150 or whatever it is. Never go that. I know for I'm going. I know I'm going to be on it now for 3 days. So why
So
not
my
just buy a
OCD,
quarter?
go back to your numbers again, the 3 for one. I'd always say another score. Can I have 4? I didn't want 2 because my OCD. I'd want 4. Fucking OCD and numbers, so I'd have 4. And then the one, I mean, it's disgusting. When you look back now, I just reflect back. You're opening them bags up when it's gone and you're licking the bags and you're trying.
Oh,
Like now, I couldn't think of anything worse. But I look on a negative time of my life that I try and give a bit of positive and try and help people. Just trying to tell someone
that's great.
like where it
Great.
ends.
It helps me massively what I do.
Oh, I do now.
And
I've
I'm
got
sure,
someone.
even this now, this is why I set it up.
Yeah.
Because this now is like me going to a fucking CA meeting, mate. And this is
Well,
now, do you know,
I had
what
a
it's about.
podcast that was meant to come out when I was 325, so I'm going to cut that there about the podcast for certain reasons it didn't come out. And I thought, right, okay, that was the first time I could talk about cocaine because I couldn't talk about it before. It triggered me. And
Yeah.
everyone's probably different on triggers. Everyone's different because cocaine does things to you. Everyone's different. But 3, 4 months into it, I couldn't talk about it. You trigger me, right? Loads of stories about the triggers that everyone's got. So then I went on social media. I thought, fuck it, let's release it. I'm proud. I'm 325 days. I'm clean. Oh, my social media blew up. It's still to this day, I get messages of people I don't know. I've made new friends through this and I'm talking to them and I love it. Just one of them went, a friend of mine went to see Elliot Ward yesterday. So a friend of mine, someone I talked, he went to see Elliot Ward. So he's like the governor in cocaine. We
Yeah,
say he's
yeah,
up
I
there.
do follow him. I do follow him.
Yeah. Either way, do you know what the fella said to me? It's really fucking nice. He goes, but I've got to thank you, Andy, because without you, I wouldn't have been doing this. You're a big inspiration to me. I don't do it for that, but it meant like, thanks for that.
I struggle, right? So I put a post on yesterday about because like it was yesterday this time last year, and I walked out of a mental health hospital and I had nothing, me mate. I had nothing. Honestly, I was a 34-year-old with nothing, right? And like obviously, it's on like 200,000 views since yesterday, like since last night. So I've got loads of messages, and I struggle to this day with people praising me. I still struggle with it. I don't do it for the praise. I don't
How
do
do
it
you
for the
cope?
praise.
How do you cope with the trolls?
Oh, they don't fucking bother me, mate.
No, I knew
But you
when I
know
do
what? I've
this.
always said this, right? And I've always said this. Social media for majority of social media is fucking false, right? It's a
Yeah,
false, it's bollocks. I've always said this. If I get a problem in the fucking street, so if I go to the garage now, I always get stopped, and I'm not being a big headed cunt. It's just
no, you're fair. You're fair.
how my social media, especially in Manchester, I always get stopped, and I always have chats with people, and I always fucking think I have, and that's what I love about it. Until I have a problem in the fucking street with somebody who calls me a
Yeah,
goon, or
yeah.
calls me somewhat, which I've never had in the last year and 2 year month, then social media doesn't bother me, mate.
No,
Because it's not real, is it?
I've had it. When I knew this, I knew it's going to happen. I've had 2 stroke 3 people have been negative, and there are 2, 3 people who I bloody know. And
They
do
said,
you know what? I look at it, I wipe them out. I think if you've got to be negative for me, if it's going to give you satisfaction for 30 seconds, a minute of your life to
yeah.
put me down, and that's making you happy, then you do it. If your sad world is having to have troll me or be negative towards me, I feel like saying, come and have it, which I'll never do. Come and look at the messages, the texts, and all that I get off people with the praise and how it's doing for them. I said that
No,
outweighs the trolls straight away. So it's surprising. I haven't got
100%.
nowhere
100%.
near to what I thought.
100%. Like I get it every single day. And I think I was really bad for it at the start because I used to reply to trolls, which it
I just
got me a
block them.
lot
On
of
here, I just block
followers.
them.
I used to
Yeah.
reply to trolls, but then I started getting my account started getting shut down and stuff like that. Early on in my recovery, I was still learning, I've still got a massive ego sometimes now, but I had a massive ego, and like the message I put out today is kind of changed, and I don't reply to them. And I also, what I don't do these days, and as your journey goes on your social media, I don't have comments on my phone anymore. So nothing
Yeah,
comes up. So once I put a video out
that's
there,
it. Yeah, yeah,
it doesn't disturb my day. Do you get what I
yeah,
mean? Because I used to
yeah,
have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all my notifications come up on my phone. And if I'm driving and I see some
yeah.
dickhead
Boom.
giving me shit, that can change my mood like that.
Yeah,
So I don't
yeah.
now. I don't do it. I put
Yeah,
my
I was
message out
90,
there. I look at
99%
the
is positivity. And it's nice. I don't do it for that, but it's nice. And I've got people I'm talking to now. I can see how far, right. Two of them I've actually mentioned. If you went back to how you was talking to me a few months ago to now, listen to your voices,
yeah.
the difference
Right,
in you.
we're gonna take a short break. We're gonna take a short break. We're gonna do part two on how Andy, I don't know why I said Andy
Andy,
got clean. So if there's anybody out there, make sure you watch part two. He's gonna share how he got clean, what he
it's
does
gonna be
today, a bit
interesting.
more of what we've just talked about. So yeah, see you on part two.